Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the second half of The Walking Dead Season 8, which of course premieres tomorrow night on AMC. Very exciting. In this Q&A, we'll start with a statement. Despite all the controversy, The Walking Dead is still my favorite series. And spoiler warning, as per usual, if you guys are not caught up for The Walking Dead, which is up to the mid-season finale for The Walking Dead Season 8. So I wanted to do this one, partially also because I wanted to see how you guys are feeling with regards to the premiere tomorrow night and kind of where you're at. Go through some comments and that and do some Q&As, the usual kind of deal. And I'll have like one more video for you guys tomorrow for sure for Walking Dead TV series. In this video, I want you to write a comment below on how you're feeling about the hype of the second half of The Walking Dead Season 8, if there's any at all. Because I have seen a lot of people, you know, there's been a lot of negativity around The Walking Dead since the mid-season finale, with, of course, them killing Carl off. A lot of questions about the future of the series. It's kind of been one of those kind of breaks, I want to say. And I feel like the break went by pretty fast, but a lot of just kind of questions about the show. How many more years is it going to last? A lot of people getting burned out on the show, not enjoying it as much as they used to, so that kind of thing. So write your comments below. Let me know where you guys are at with this one and how you're feeling about this second half, how hyped you are or not, and whether or not you're even looking forward to the mid-season premiere and the back half. I personally, with the news that Fear the Walking Dead is going to start right after it, am pretty excited for this 15 straight weeks of Walking Dead because, of course, Fear is starting to be, you know, it's starting to feel more like Walking Dead than it probably ever has before, even though it's always had, you know, TWD, initials FTWD. In its title, it never quite felt like The Walking Dead, but I feel like with Morgan crossing over, it's going to feel a lot more like The Walking Dead than it ever has before. I mean, you can have a zombie apocalypse series, but if they're distant in terms of time, if they're distant in terms of the characters, then it kind of really just feels like it's not, you know, it's the same, but it's not like it's the same name, it's the same universe, but it just feels like it's so disconnected from the original series. This year is going to be really cool to see how they're going to be able to kind of bring those two closer together. And I did a video on that yesterday. There's a new interview about how they're going to play with time in Fear the Walking Dead, so check that out if you guys haven't seen it yet. I'll have it in the end screen videos for you guys. There's a new cover for The Walking Dead issue 179, so I'll do a video on that probably later today or tomorrow for you guys. So a couple more videos coming before the premiere, but really want to see how you guys are feeling right now, how you felt the break went for you, you know, without having Walking Dead on Sundays during the wintertime and that, and you know, how excited you are, if at all, for this last half for Season 8. So despite all the controversy, it's still my favorite series. This one came from Dr. Smartey Pants, who said, Trev, let's be honest, I'm more optimistic than I thought I would be for the future of The Walking Dead beyond the Carl death. I can see it going at least 12 or 13 seasons. Anything beyond that, we'll have to wait to see. But for the time being, I can see a long-term future for The Walking Dead and even Fear the Walking Dead. What are your thoughts? Love all your videos. Hopefully you're not too burned out on The Walking Dead universe, brother. You're awesome. So I'm still enjoying it. You know, I'm still enjoying doing this with you guys. I'm still enjoying The Walking Dead. You know, all Walking Dead related kind of stuff, comic book series, TV series, even figures, and I did a video on that last week with some new figure reveals for Walking Dead stuff. You know, I'm still enjoying it like crazy. I still look forward to it like crazy. It's my favorite series on TV. It's my favorite series that's ever been made. I feel like around season 3 or 4, you know, I pretty much said, like, this is my favorite series that's ever been done, with the quality of Season 2's finale and what they did with Shane there being so great, bringing the governor in and all the stuff in Season 3 I just thought was amazing. And they've taken it so far beyond that now. And it hasn't all been perfect. You know, there's been story arcs that a lot of people hate, like, for example, the Beth stuff in Season 5. There was just a lot of people who didn't like that. That wasn't for their, you know, type of audience maybe, or that wasn't for them. They didn't really like it. But for me personally, I mean, you know, Season 3, it pretty much became my favorite series. Season 4, it just cemented that. Then Season 5, 6, 7 really just took it to another level. It's like, what is going to be better than this show? I don't know if there's ever going to be a series I'm going to enjoy much as I've enjoyed seasons, you know, 5, 6, and 7 here of this series. Season 5, incredible. Then bringing Morgan back and the stuff with Carol and No Sanctuary and all the being on the road for a while was just so cool to see. The second half, they start with Alexandria. You get Season 6 with No Way Out story arc from the beginning all the way through, like the most epic zombie apocalypse stuff I think that's ever been done, be it in TV series form, comic book series form, whatever. Season 7 starting off with the biggest episode probably in the history of television, I would say, you know, cooked like crazy to find out who Negan killed. Season 7 premiere, most hype The Walking Dead has ever had, ever, you know, probably ever will have. After that, of course, dwindling down a lot. But, you know, that's how things go. There's ups and downs, right? People get interest, and then sometimes it kind of dips afterwards. You know, after a climax, it comes down. You know, that's kind of just the nature of things, right? That's the way things go. And still, you know, Season 8 with being all out war, I mean, in theory, when you look at the comic book series, it should probably be the biggest, you know, the biggest story arc they ever do in the TV series, at least up to current date, from based on the comics and what they've actually had in the comics. But in translation, the way they did the season 7, you know, premiere was so brilliant. I didn't even like it at the time. I thought they were like trolling us, you know, because we're here, we have to wait to see who Negan kills all summer, and then we finally find out who it is. It's a double death and everything. So, but, you know, making us wait and everything was a pain. We hated, we were so mad at them at season 6 finale for them not showing it to us and having to wait and everything. But it was brilliant because it built up so much hype around the series that, you know, that level of hype may never be touched again for Walking Dead, or maybe any other show for that matter. I mean, really, it's just a TV show, right? So to be able to get it to that kind of level where everybody is talking about it, and, you know, you get 17 million or however many people just in the U.S. Worldwide, you probably have like, who knows? I mean, you know, can we say the U.S., think of the amount of people in the U.S. versus the world. There's people all over the world that watch the series. You're probably looking 30, 40 million people in that week probably checked it out worldwide. You know, I mean, that's insane. So obviously, that's not going to be the permanent deal. That's not going to continue always. You know, there's going to be build-ups, there's going to be finales and that. For this season, for this half, really excited for this finale here to see, you know, the final battle between Rick and Negan in the season finale for The Walking Dead Season 8. I mean, that's going to be really exciting. I mean, that's built up 2 full years now, starting in the Season 6 finale, going all the way through Season 7. Now it'll be all the way through Season 8 in the final episode. You know, over 2 years here, we're going to finally get to see the, you know, the final kind of battle between Rick and Negan. I mean, that's, you know, that for me, I'm very excited for that. Yes, it's kind of a downer that they're killing Carl off in that, but it's going to change Rick in some different ways. It's going to make things a lot different from the comic book series, and if other people leave, such as, you know, actress who plays Maggie, if Lauren leaves, then, you know, at first it's like, is it going to kill the series? Oh man, the series is over. That was my first reaction. You guys saw it in the video. I was like, oh man, this is going to be so bad. But then at the same time, it's like, well, who says the Walking Dead TV series has to be the same, you know, incarnation as the comics? It has to be the same version. It can't be, you know, no matter what. You can't always have it be the same thing as what the comics are. You know, yes, in the comics, All Out War is probably the best part in the entire comic book series. In the TV series version, it's a different medium. It's hard for them to do action. Even Scott Kimball talked about in Talking Dead, you know, you have to put the most effort in to get the least, and you only have so much time to do it, so you're trying to get all this action stuff done, but it only accounts for like a minute or two on screen of Rick and Daryl in this car chase against, you know, the 50 cal and everything that's happening with this, motorcycle and all that. It probably took them like a few days to film that, and it's like a couple minutes of an episode, right? So it's a different thing than the comic book series is, and you know, it's going to have its own, you know, high points and low points, and they may not be the same as the comics. So I'm still like, you know, even though there's all this stuff going on with Walking Dead, you got lawsuits, you got all this other stuff happening, I still think that, you know, it's still my favorite series by far. It's cemented that. It's basically taking a step, you know, above that, beyond that. As it continues on, you know, there's going to be some stuff that we love. There's going to be some stuff that we don't like so much. But really, I mean, it's all good stuff because it's still going. When all these other series that started back in 2010 or what have you are either have already ended or are ending. You know, if you look at Game of Thrones, which is ending next year. So yeah, you know, it's really, really epic to see that end kind of come about, and it's amazing and everything, and that is a great series, not taking anything away from it. But the fact that The Walking Dead could even survive on longer than that, and do so many episodes per year, never take a year off, you know, add on Fear, all this other stuff they're doing. You know, there's a lot of problems with it. Nobody's saying it's perfect, but at the same time, they're doing a lot of stuff that's really awesome. And, you know, getting to see All Out War, they brought us more action in this season than they probably ever brought us in the series. I personally, for one, am not complaining about it. I think it's been amazing. Again, maybe not perfect, but amazing. And bringing Morales back and all this other stuff they did, Carl, but, doing something unpredictable, like taking a huge risk, like killing Carl off. There's always good and bad to things, and glass, half full or half empty, depending on which way your perspective, which way you want to look at it. But I still am very excited for tomorrow night. Very excited to see the future of the series, and I hope it at least get a couple more years, and I think it will. I really do think it will. Even if people leave or what have you, it won't kill the show entirely. It might, impact. Obviously, it's going to impact it if someone leaves or something. But at the same time, who says it has to be exactly the same as the comics? I don't think anybody going in would have thought that it's going to be. It's just a totally different, it's a totally different thing. 10 years later for people versus, 10 years for one comic book artist. As long as your artist is in, you're fine. But with a TV series, you have so many people involved. They've gone through different showrunners, they've gone through different directors. I haven't seen Ernest Dickerson direct an episode in years, and he was like the premier director for The Walking Dead earlier on in the series. So things are going to change. The series is going to change. It's going to feel different as it goes through. But I'm just happy that it's still on and still continuing, as so many of these other series are no longer on, like Breaking Bad and things like that I really enjoyed. So write your comments on that below, guys. How are you feeling about that? What do you think about that? Do you think, just write those comments. Let me see what you think. Ali Moustafa says, I actually think they have killed her off in season 8. So about Maggie leaving. So that's an interesting one. This is not spoilers, guys. He's just saying, and I have no idea, but I would not think that they would kill Maggie off in season 8. Some people think that her dying in child labor, similar to what happened with Lori, makes sense. And, they could do something like that if she decides to leave the series. Hopefully she does re-sign and they can work around her pilot that she's doing and that kind of thing. That's the ideal situation. We'll have to see what does happen. But even if she did, die near the end of the season, or, she wouldn't be in negotiations, I wouldn't think, if she was already killed off in season 8. So I tend to think that she does live out this season. I would think so based on the comics. And in season 9, if they have to do a premiere child labor thing, okay, if they have to do that, I guess that's one way to do it, or recasting, or whatever. It's going to suck, but it won't. I don't think it'll totally kill the series 100%. As bad, but it is bad, as bad as it is. Mr. Adrenaline 1982 says, hey Trev, if Lauren doesn't re-sign and they decide to kill Maggie off, do you think they could replacing her comic storylines with Rosita on the show, and vice versa with Maggie meeting up with Alpha? So he's saying basically a lot of the parts that are coming in the future for Maggie, if they have to kill off her character because the actress wants to leave, could they replace that with Rosita? Could they replace Maggie with Rosita from the comics? It's a stretch, it's a pretty big stretch. I don't personally like it, it's kind of difficult to say who they would replace her with. I don't think there's anybody right now that is in that kind of line of things emotionally for the viewer. And after spending that many seasons with the character, replacing her is going to be really tough. That's going to be really hard, and you'd have to change up a lot of stuff. It won't be the same thing, and again, you're affecting the highs and lows of things. You'd have to come up with some really good stuff, and I think revamp that whole part of The Walking Dead, from the comics. You can't really be faithful to that. You can't really do the same stuff with Maggie and kind of all the setup with Glenn and all that as you could do with someone like Rosita and kind of how they've set her character up in a different direction. You probably could have done it with Sasha, but it's too late now because they killed Sasha off the season 7 finale. So, in the future, they may not want to kill everybody off because they may want to keep on a couple extra characters here and there in case of stuff like this happens where someone wants to leave, so they can kind of pop somebody else into that wheel, another cog in the wheel. But when they kill so many characters off so frequently, it's pretty difficult for them to create that emotional tether in a short amount of time as you would get with somebody who's surviving more long term. So that's going to be tough if they have to replace Maggie. I can't even think, no matter who they do it with, I think it'd be a stretch, be it even like a newer character or something, like maybe one of the people from, I don't know, the Kingdom or somewhere, I don't know, one of the women from there or something you could do maybe, but that's pretty tough, and I feel like Rosita is kind of cemented in her kind of arc, so it doesn't really make sense that you would kind of switch her over to Maggie's. It just, for me, it doesn't really work. unless you took somebody from the ocean side or something. It just doesn't have the same emotional resonance depending on what they do with it. But again, if they revamp it a lot, then, I mean, they can do that. It's not like Fear the Walking Dead has been a pretty good show, and, a lot of people like it. Some people don't, but a lot of people do. And it has no base material from the Walking Dead comics at all, and it worked out pretty good. It's still on anyway after 4 years. So Video Man says, Olympics end Sunday, The Walking Dead starts Sunday. Do you think that will hurt it, Trev? I don't think that it will have it. It'll probably have some impact because people are going to be watching that, but it might hurt the premiere a little bit. But really, it's a whole half season. The finale should be the biggest, episode of this half. I think a lot of people are probably going to want to see what happens with Carl. So it's kind of cliffhanger-y from that mid-season finale. People are going to want to come back and see right away. So, the Olympics certainly is a big event that's on, obviously, and with it having its final day, it could have some impact, but I think that the Carl thing is certainly going to attract as many people as possible, as people who care about The Walking Dead would probably pick that over the Olympics, I think, just to see Carl's last episode, or maybe, watch it later or something. So last one for today will be from Kevin, who says, Trev, considering that Lauren Cohan hasn't re-signed her contract yet, and with the death of Carl, do you think The Walking Dead television series will stray from the comic storyline? Would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks. So, yeah, for Kev, it's going to have to. They're going to have to make it quite a bit different from the Walking Dead storyline. It's going to have to change things up a lot, and we'll have to see what that looks like. But, you can look at that as a really bad thing, or you can look at it as an opportunity, where they have an opportunity to kind of change things more. Maybe that's what they wanted to do with Carl, is to make it more different from the Walking Dead comic book series. And if nothing else, it certainly makes it exciting, because we don't know, as much what we're looking at for the future of The Walking Dead. There's more kind of questions around it versus certainty and understanding with it having the comics that it's more closely tied to. So that'll be it for today's video, guys. If you liked it, and I hope you did, please thumb it up below. Write the comments how you feeling about hype, how you feeling about the series, considering it, mid-season premiere is tomorrow night. And that's it for this video. I'll see you guys again soon for another. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. I'll see you guys tomorrow.